Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Umesh. A brief introduction about me is that I've done my graduation in economics from Hindu College, University of Delhi. I've done my masters in economics from Delhi School of Economics, and currently I'm pursuing my PhD in economics. That was about me. In this video, we'll be talking about statistics, right? We have discussed econometrics to a certain level in our previous lecture series. You can check the videos in the playlist, econometrics playlist. Okay, so now we'll be focusing on stats. So stats and econometrics are basically two subjects in economics that usually students fear of. I'll try to explain all the concepts in the most easy possible way. Let's begin. What is stats? So this is basically an introductory video about what statistics is and a few relevant things about statistics. So I the people who have studied, I think they already have a basic idea about stats. So let's just go through the basics very quickly. So the discipline of statistics provides methods for organizing and summarizing data and for drawing conclusions based on information contained in data. Uh, the important thing here is that there is a data set that is getting organized and that is getting summarized, and based on the organization and the summarization, some conclusions are drawn. So this data is about what? What is this data about? So there is a population. A population is basically an area of interest, okay, where you might be interested in looking at a certain feature or you want to test something, okay. So a well-defined collection of objects of interest that you wish to investigate, okay. So for example, you might wish to investigate the number of mobile phone produced during a specified period. So that number of mobile phone produced, or that becomes your population, right? So this is the idea of population. So we have data, we have organization, we have summarization, we have drawing conclusions, we have what is this data about? This is about a population. A population is something that is of our area of interest and something that we want to investigate. Okay, so this is the example. So now another example can be a population of all graduates in a particular year. So that can be also a population. So your population is very subjective. You yourself, depending upon your interest or the field you want to investigate, you will choose your population. I hope this is clear. So then we have a term called census. So what is a census? So when desired information is available for all the objects in the population, we have a census. So whatever objects are present in the population, okay, be it supposing we are talking about all the graduates that were produced or that passed out in a particular year. So if you have all the information of your interest about all the graduates that passed out, then that becomes a census. So census is a very uh, precise, a very detailed data set of your population. Okay, right? So given the nature of census, constraints of time, money, and other scarce resources usually make a census impractical or infeasible. So, because you have to make a very detailed study about certain aspects of the population. Okay, suppose you want to check the gender, you have to check the income level of the family, you have to check the height of the males and the height of the female. So, if you want to check a very broad spectrum of information about the population, or you want to be very thorough and detailed, then that becomes a census. But if you have to go for such a situation, then it becomes time consuming, it takes a lot of money and a lot of other resources like your manpower and other things, okay. So that is why a census is not done very frequently. So you must have heard that the government of India does a census every 10 years, okay. because it is a time taking process, because every details or a very large number of details about the populations are captured. So this is your census. So what happens is we are usually interested only in certain characteristics. So usually we are focused on a certain specific characteristics of the objects in the population. Okay, if suppose there is a population of say 100 people, okay, and you are interested, so these 100 people are your object and you are interested in finding the height height of these people. So height is a certain characteristic of this population. You can also go for weight, you can go for income, income, or any other thing, number of children, okay, whether he's a divorced or uh, widowed. You can add any number of characteristics. So but there will always be a certain specific certain set of characteristics that you will be interested in. Okay, for example, the number of mobile phone produced that were 5G. Okay, so now the particular characteristic that you're looking for is whether the mobile phone that was produced is a 5G or a 4G or a 3G phone. Okay, or the gender of the engineering graduates. So all the graduates that were passing in a year, of those, and of those graduates, of the engineering graduates, how many are female or how many are male. So that can be a certain specific characteristic that you might be interested in. So your characteristics can be of two types. So they can be categorical or they can be numerical. Okay. So when I spoke about the gender, so that is a category in which you are dividing the data. So the gender can either be male or female or undefined. So now we have a third gender also, or you know, so gender is a very fluid term. So let's just say there's a male, there's a female, and there is a undefined gender. So these are the categories. So it's a categorical characteristic, and then we have numerical characteristic. So example, the quantity. So in this example, the number of mobile phones that were 5G. So that becomes a quantity because the number of phones will be in a numerical unit, right? So this is about the characteristics. So now let's try to define a variable. So this is a very basic level understanding of statistics. All these terms will be used frequently in the upcoming videos. So understanding these terms or having a brief overview is very important. So what is a variable? So as the name itself is very clear, variable is something that is varying. Okay. So it is any characteristic where value may change from one object to another in the population. So height of men in a given population. So if I have a population of 100 people or 100 men, okay, then height becomes a variable because height will vary with every specific object in the population, which is a person here. Okay, so height becomes a variable. So any uh, characteristic that is varying for every object in the population, that is a variable. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now we have what we call a univariate data set. So it is very simple. Uni means one, variate means a variable, single variable data set. So only one variable is varying. That type of data set is called your univariable with data set. So observation on a single variable. Example, height. So height is a single variable. So for every individual you are uh, recording the height and the height is varying. So it is a univariate data set. Similarly, we have bivariate data set when we have more than one variable, or in this case we have two variables that are varying. So if I take the height and weight both of say a population of basketball players, then my data set will look like this. This is the weight, this is the height. So two variables are there and both the variables are varying, so bivariate data set. Similarly, we have multiple variable data set where we have multiple characteristics that are varying uh, for every object in the population, right? So I hope this is clear. So now we had a very brief and quick intro of what we mean by statistics. So let's see what are the branches. So in the first definition, that we read, uh, we s- we read that it is about organizing, summarizing, and drawing conclusion. What is this? Statistics is about these three things. Okay, so based on what statistics does, we have it into two parts. Just give me a second. Okay, so we have two branches of statistics depending upon what sort of function is being done. So we have descriptive and we have inferential. Okay, so descriptive basically means to describe. So an investigator who collects data simply summarize and describe important features of data using graphical methods like histogram or pie chart or say whatever form, or a numerical summary like mean, median, etc. So we'll talk about all these terms in the upcoming videos. So basically, what is being done by descriptive statistics is that it is basically collecting and summarizing the data, okay, and describing the important features of the data. So you are just uh, giving out facts about the data. So you are not making any own inference about the data set or whatever information or whatever subjective information you can say predict about the data set. So these things will be more clear when we move ahead in the videos. Okay, for the simple definition, let's just stick to the lines here. It is simply summarizing and describing important features of the data. So this is the important part or the crux here. In inferential, it's basically a step ahead of descriptive because it is, having obtained a sample. So in here we have data slash population that is being described. Okay, in here we have a sample. So since we have a sample, it means that we'll describe the or we'll make inferences about the population population using the sample statistics, right? So, having obtained a sample from a population, investigator uses sample information to draw some type of conclusion about the population. Okay? So, using the sample, you try to make inferences about the population. That becomes the part of your inferential statistics. And we have certain ways through which we make these inferences, and we'll talk about them in the upcoming video. So, this was about the basic brief introduction about what statistics is and a few terms that will help you in the future videos. So I hope all these things in this video were clear. So I'll see you soon with the new video. Till then, take care and thank you for watching.